Hello there, folks. This is an interesting video today I have. Got a customer who would like to have different Crimson databases on their SD memory card, and upon some situation or a button or some reading of something, they'd like to have the HMI load a different database from the SD memory card. So I've got other videos where I create an image.ci3 file and you put it on the root directory, and you can make the HMI or the Redline product boot from the SD memory card, if you will, the micro SD if you're talking DA50, DA70. So I got lots of videos that cover how to make it boot from an image file. But in this case, this is a little different. So in this one, I did some testing, and here's kind of the solution that I came up with. I created a number of different databases with different background colors. All databases are the same here, but so here I'm showing off the base. This one here's the base database here. If I go down here and click on, say, another one, this one here is called the gray, and you can see it's got a gray background on this particular one. And then I have another database called teal. It has a teal database on it, and the last one I have is called yellow. And guess what? It's got a yellow background. Now you're going to notice that in all these databases, they have a bunch of series of buttons and so forth. And they basically all have the same buttons, except I removed the button from the page that happens to be of the database showing. So for instance, this is the base database here. And if I go look at the gray, you can see I got rid of the gray button there and so forth. So anyway, so what I did here in this application is I took these databases and I went one at a time, and I went to the file pull down and I did save image. So here I have image, and I'm going to call the file what you have to call it, image image.ci3. I'm going to hit save. And it says, do you want to build for an upload? I'll say yes to this. And that's it. So that should have saved that file, which it did on my local hard drive. This is on my computer hard drive here. Okay. Now I went next step, and on the SD memory card that's in the Redline unit, I used FTP to access that. And I got another video on how to use FTP, but I'll just quickly show you. Over on the left under device configuration here, I'll go down here to, I think it's services, clicked on FTP server, and all I've done here is I've enabled that read write access for anonymous. That's all I'm doing. And then I like to use the software Core FTP. So here I've got Core FTP open. It's their client software. It's free. I love it. So if I go connect to the Redline unit, there it is connected. I can also hit this pull down here, and you can see I've got a site called local Geo9 because it's Geo9. I called it local Geo9 here. I put in the IP address of that local. I've checked the anonymous, so forth, blah, blah, blah. And if I hit connect, I'm already connected, so it should show it. Whoops, I didn't want to do this side here. I want to go back to my C drive here, buddy. Hold on here. Let me go back to, this is not what I wanted. All right, let me reboot this. I didn't want that window to do that, so hold on here, team. I didn't realize that it would open up that other window. Let's try this here again. Hold on. All right, let's go ahead and connect. Perfect. I wanted this. So I'm not a Core FTP expert, but this window here is my local C drive on my computer. This window over here is what's happening on the SD card on the Redline unit. So this is what's on there. Now look here, team. I went ahead and created some directories. I called one directory base, another one gray, another one teal, and I think if I slide down, there's a yellow. Okay. So inside each of these directories, for instance, let me go back to Crimson here. I just created this program. Y'all just saw me do a file save image, and I called it image. I already did that. This is the base program. So over here in Core FTP, I'll go double click on the base directory. Now I already got one in here because I was playing with this earlier, so I'll delete it for now so you can see really what happens. I need to move this image file, which was the base program, and drag and drop it over here like this. So I'm currently dragging that over here. I know I'll get the picture down here showing the HMI. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now I am transferring to the local SD card in the Geo9 that image file in the directory called base. Okay. Now while that's doing that, you'll see it'll take a little time. It's about a 12 meg. I think there's a whole firmware in there and everything. The database is not very big, but Crimson has all the other things that go with it to make it boot from there. So it's can be about a 12 to 15 megabyte style size thing. Anyway, so there it is. It's in that directory. If I go look at the other directories, you can see I got the same file name in all these others, except these came from either the teal or the yellow program or the base or the gray. That's all they are, really. Same thing. Now, here's the catch, though. Okay. So I put these buttons on these pages. And when I push one of these buttons, let me show you. If I right click on the yellow one, go to properties, and it has the text here. But if I go to the action, I'm calling a program called Start Yellow. Okay. So let me show you that program. It's pretty simple. Over here in programs, I got a program called Start Yellow. And this program is called whenever I push that button. And all I'm doing is two things here. I'm going to use the function called copy files, which, by the way, is over in the lower right-hand corner. Click on System, expand the functions tree, and I think it's going to be in the drive here. And there's this one here called copy files. Now, that copies everything from the root directory or the directory here and puts it in this directory. So I only have in that directory the image.ci3 file. So when I press that button, it's going to move that over to the local root directory on the SD memory card, which is what I want. And then when that gets done, I'm going to do a commit and reset. Okay. Now you're going to notice something here. I made all the programs here in gray. They're all running in the background. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Anyway. Okay, so I got that going. That's going to move it over. And we'll go through this procedure here so you can see it. One other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to find out, is there any way that I could maybe let somebody know that the thing is doing something so they're not sitting there wondering, is the HMI doing something? Because you do get on the HMI, there's a little blue LED here. If I put my finger in the camera, you get the blue LED here blinks, but the people won't pay attention to that. So what I did is I went a little step further and I found a function called get drive status. So if I go here to the right, go to data tags, and I have a function here called get drive status, which again is in the lower right corner under system, and it's in the same drive category right here called get drive status. I just drag that out to here, and according to that help document on that thing, if that equals the number 4, that means that the drive is busy. So I did something a little extra. I said anytime that thing equals number 4, I want to show a pop-up. So over here in display pages, I created just a simple page here called pop-up. And whenever that tag equals 4, that shows that pop-up. And that's what you see happen here. Now, it didn't clear. Let me look at something real quick here. Go back to my web. I forgot to put in a thing to clear it, so that's no big deal. I'll fix that later. But anyway, so you can see right now, that's where that comes from. Let me go ahead and try something out here, team. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can get this to work. So hold on here. Let me go ahead and download this program to it real quick here. Give me a second. I probably should make that when it goes back to 5. You know what? Let's fix that real quick. Well, let's fix that real quick. Data match when it equals 5. We're going to close that thing, which is a pop-up. So I think over here in maybe user interface, or is it in display pages? Where is it here? Pages. Here we go. I'm going to hide the pop-ups. So I just want to hide. I'll just hide all pop-ups. So I think if I drag this down here like that, that should fix that little problem we just saw. We'll download that real quick here. Okay. All right. Let's try this out. So you can see the screen. I have the camera on it here. So if I do, in theory, reboot yellow, it should move the file. Let me go over here back to this thing. It should move. It should go into this directory. It should take image and should place it on the root directory. Right now, here I'm showing the root directory. Can I make this bigger? Hold on here, team. Well, never mind. Anyway, I should be able to make that bigger. Can I stretch that up? Oh, I hate mouses sometimes. Nope, that's as big as you get. Yeah, so you can see there's nothing in there, right? Okay, so let me go to the web page and watch this. So I'm gonna hit reboot yellow. Okay, so you notice that you can see in the camera, this is blinking, the little blue light here. That pop-up showed up. I'm just showing that little pop-up, okay? And in the process right now, if I go online, you can see that as I continue to refresh, this number is increasing. So it takes a little bit of time to move that file, but once it gets completely moved over, the HMI is going to do a commit and reset, and you're going to watch it on the camera here, what it does. Let's take a look. And I'll make this one here, I'll let it go the long time, and then if I make any more of these, I'll speed it up in the video, because it does take, I don't know, about a minute to do this or so. It's a good time to have a little coffee break. Watch this. I have a little coffee. Delicious. It's McDonald's coffee in a K-cup. You can't go wrong with that, team. You cannot go wrong with McDonald's coffee in the morning. Let's do a refresh. How are we doing here? Say we're about halfway point. I think it's about 12 or 13 meg. I'm looking for this number here. I'm focusing on that number. This is the file in the root directory. Get close. I want you to watch what the HMI does on the camera view here when it gets done. Should do a commit reset. And this should come up in the yellow background. Hopefully my cheap camera will show a yellow background. We'll find out shortly. There you go. Look, the HMI is refreshing. And then there's one more catch to this to make it happen again. So let me let this go through, and then I'll discuss the other catch here. You can see the HMI is rebooting there in the camera video. And it should come up with a yellow background, if I did this correctly. At least I hope. Well, if my camera shows it, great. If not, I can assure you it's in the yellow background. So that worked perfectly. Now, if I do a refresh, I'm going to have to relog in because it recycles there. Let me do a relog in. Oops, somebody's calling me. Okay. Now, you don't see anything here because when this procedure got done, I call another program called boot up delete files. And this program, normally when you load from an image file, the first time you do it, that reboots the system, but it changes the suffix to it to be a CI.3 and prevents it from continually rebooting from the image. Then it's rebooted from what's inside the unit. So what I did then, upon power up, let me go over here to display pages, click on pages. On startup, not on power up, but on startup here, I'm calling that program called boot up delete files. And that program does nothing more than you got to open a file pointer. So this opens the name, puts an H file, or that's the pointer, if you will. And then I delete that file. And then I don't know why I added this no op, but it doesn't really do anything. And then right below there, excuse me, I do the exact same thing with the other file that's going to be there called image.ci3.d, and I delete it. So by deleting both of those files, the next time I go to switch to a different page or load a different thing, it'll load correctly. If you don't do that, I don't think it won't override what was already there. So for instance, let's say I want to reboot in the teal color. Okay, you can see in the camera it's currently yellow. Let's do reboot teal. When this procedure gets done, it should have a teal background. I may fast forward this so we don't have to wait as long, but it would be neat to time it, I guess. Again, what it's doing is it's copying that image file from the directory called teal right here, and it's putting it here. So if I refresh my core FTP, let me go. This software likes to log out after 2 minutes of inactivity, so you often have to hit the refresh. There's probably a setting here you can turn that off, but I don't know where it is. Since I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn this weekend, I really don't know. Had I stayed at a Holiday Inn, might be possible. I like this little pop-up that I put on here because it lets the operator know something's going on. Now, there's a blue light blinking down here, but most operators won't pay attention to that. But this lets them know, hey, I'm in the process of rebooting. So don't do anything, Bob. It's working on something. It's not going to work and do anything anyway because it's rebooting. So the other caveat to this I should tell you is that as I saved these different configurations, I did do a new database identifier on each one of these images. I tried to use the same database identifier for each one and have some retentive tags, but that didn't seem to work. For some reason, at least in my testing, if I did a retentive tag and had the same image identifier, a lot of times it didn't seem to change the color, which I thought was weird. Only when I made a new database identifier, when I did a new file save name, then it lets me reboot. So here it is. It should come up in teal, I think, this time, team. Let's see what it does here. Crossing my fingers, we should get a teal color on this one. There you have it. And again, notice on the display page, I got rid of that button because we just opened up in teal. And I went from, we started out in the base, which was the white background. We went to the yellow, now went to the teal. And if I want to go back to the base, well, then I think I could just click on the base here, and that would take me back to the original base file. So anyway, if anybody wants to copy this database, don't be afraid to send me a note. I'll certainly share it with you. But that's how I found you could have different images on the SD card and boot from it if you want to. The trick here is really you got to put them in different directories, all called image. And then when you switch from that to another database, you got to basically move that over to the root directory and then do a commit and reset. And that's exactly what all of my programs over here do, is when you push those buttons, they go ahead and copy the files to the base directory. And then when that's done, we call the commit and reset function. And then when it reboots, it has that on there. And then, of course, we delete the files when that's all done, when it comes up with the new style. So anyway, just a quick video on that. Thanks a lot, folks. You all have a great day. We'll see you later.